All right. Here I am, back home, back in the flesh. It's Manoli here on Manoli's Musings podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back. I just got home yesterday from spring break, and I'm going to do a little retrospective here. I'm going to talk all about it. I don't know how long this is going to go for. I'm going to try to keep it short, but I got a lot to talk about. I was gone almost 2 weeks, and some of that was by accident, but we'll get to that. Okay? I hope you're all doing well and that, everything's going good in your life. I really do. And if you're listening to this and you're on my spring break with me, just keep it quiet, okay? I got to be careful what I say on here. You never know. I'm kidding. I didn't do anything, crazy. But, anyway, so what was that? 2 Fridays ago, I flew out at I think my flight left at 5:30 in the morning. I got up at 3. I think I only slept for like an hour because, I don't know, I guess I like to torture myself. So I get to the airport, and I go to get on the plane. I'm like, I'm really looking forward to sleeping this flight, It's easy. There should be no problem for me to sleep. But what do you know? I get stuck next to 3 people. I don't know who is this talkative at 5:30 in the morning, but they talk the whole time. I couldn't sleep. These people just kept running their big mouths. Which, they have a right to. But, come on, 5:30 in the morning, why don't you sleep? Why you got to keep me up? But I digress. Anyway, so I couldn't actually sleep for some reason. I used to be able to sleep all the time. Now I just, if I'm a little bit disturbed, it's just the sleep goes. So I'm sitting there, I'm awake. I think I was listening to some Vaughan Williams, the great British composer Vaughan Williams. And I was thinking, I read this quote by Aaron Copland, and he said that Vaughan Williams' music was like going out to a pasture and staring at cows for 45 minutes, which I think is rather hypocritical considering some of Copland's body of work. Appalachian Spring, everyone. They're both, evocative in nature, but at the same time, it's like staring at cows. Who said it's a bad thing? I like cows. I think they're great animals. What's wrong with cows? What do you got against cows, Copeland? Huh? What do you got against them? I think they're great, Just walk around eating grass all day. They're delicious, too. What's not to like about them, right? Anyway, so I landed at Fort Lauderdale. I got time to kill. So what did I? Oh, I know. I remember. I went and sat at some coffee shop for like 3 hours. Kept falling asleep. Sitting there having my coffee. I'd sit there, and I'd look up, and the lady behind the counter is just staring at me, laughing at me. I'm like, I'm sorry, I had this early flight. The people next to me are talking. She's like, I don't care. I think it's funny. I'm like, okay. So I took a little nap in the coffee shop. I waited 3 hours until it was time for me to get on the cruise. I went on the cruise for spring break. I should have started with that if I didn't mention it. I went on a cruise with oh gosh, how many people was it? See, this is the problem. I can't count. I'd say their names, but I don't want to, I don't want to use their names if they don't want me to. But anyway, let's say it was anywhere between 6 and 8 people. I don't know what it was exactly, okay? It was 7 because we sat at a table of 8. That was it. 7 other people. Anyway, so we get on this ship. Beautiful ship. First class, all the way. I go to my room. I got this balcony looking out at the ocean. It's beautiful. Beautiful time. We set sail that afternoon. We get going. I don't know what we did the first night. I can't really remember, but I do know that one of the first couple of nights we went and saw, they had a comedian. Actually, it was a double bill. It was 2 comedians. Anyway, we're sitting there. It's the 11 o'clock show. We're waiting. First guy comes up. He crushes it. Rocky Osborne was his name. And he had us rolling with laughter. He crushed it. We were loving him. He did a really great job. A nice guy, too. I talked to him after. He was nice. He waited after the show to talk to the audience. He'd just leave, go up to his room. I saw him at the casino a few times. I'm like, this guy's pretty cool, man. Rocky Osborne, yeah, good guy. Anyway, he gets off and he introduces the second person. It's another comedian. I'm not going to name them, uh, but she gets up there and she starts her thing, and we're warmed up, so it should have been easy, right? Anyway, she gets up there. She starts going, and she says like a few sentences, and she's like, "Wow, where's it? Where's my response? Why aren't you clapping? You don't like my jokes? Blah blah blah." I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa." First of all, how? I mean, you should know by now, after 30 years of stand-up or whatever the hell it is that you did, that you don't ask for applause. I mean, what the? I mean, what are you doing? That's any kind of performance. That would be like if I went up there and I went, what can I do? Oh, vi vill triumferen, vänds jag till atmosfären, und die Hälfte shiren so. And I stopped. I'm like, why aren't they clapping? Why aren't they clapping? They must not like me. They don't like me. Anyway, but she's I don't know. She's like out of shape. I don't know what the heck's going on. And so I tried to help her out. I said, "We love you." And she's like, "Who is that guy? It should put him on a timer. Yeah, it put you on snooze." And after that, that was it. We didn't like her. We didn't love her anymore, okay? Let's just put it that way. And she bombed, and that was it. That was the end. It was a big drop off. And wow, aren't I nice today? But yeah, she bombed, and I was trying to get something going, and she got mad at me. So there you go. First we're not participating, then we participated too much. I guess you can't win with her, but I mean, what do you expect? It's a cruise ship. They're not going to have, some master comedian out there. But the first guy was great. But anyway, we so one of the other nights we run into Rocky, the first guy, and I saw on the thing it said comedian Rocky Osborne, and will be doing a show at, I don't know, 10 o'clock. And I took that to mean that he was doing a solo show. Anyway, so we see him. We walk up to him. We're like, "Hey, Rocky, what's going on? We really enjoyed your show. We saw that there's another time." He's like, "Yeah, I'll be doing it." And then one of the people in our group goes, "Is it just you?" And the look on his face. I mean, he didn't say anything, but he knew exactly what we meant. He's like, "No, it's not just me. It's a double bill." I said, "Well, it just said you. It had your picture on there. It didn't say Rocky and the other person. It just said Rocky." He's like, "Yeah, but it's a double bill." I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Anyway, so that was that was amusing. I gotta tell you, these cruise ships, the food that they give you is just, I mean, I don't. It's just whenever it's unlimited food, it's like all your food things, they just go out the window. I didn't have dessert. Oh, I did have one bite of dessert because my friends thought it would be funny while I was in the bathroom to tell the people in the dining room that it was my birthday when it was in December. So I had to have one bite of cake. I'm like, I told you, how many times I have to tell you I don't like dessert? But they did it, I don't know, to surprise me. It was funny. Okay, they did a good job. I just sat there, I'm like, "It's not my birthday." But I didn't say that. I'm laughing. It was hilarious. But the food, man, I mean, where else can you go and get 3 appetizers and 2 entrees? And, I mean, that kind of power, with great power becomes great responsibility. That's the example right there. The power to eat as much as you want for no additional cost. Uh, I tell you, it's scary. I don't know what it would be like to be the king of a country or a president, but I don't know if it could compare to that kind of authority. Uh, Beautiful food. We were supposed to stop. We were supposed to stop in Nassau, Bahamas, uh, and we didn't because they canceled it because it was too windy. And anyway, so we went. I think it was 3 days on the ocean before we went to our next stop, which was the beautiful island. It's the U.S. territory of St. Thomas. Uh, and I have a spot there. It's a secret spot. Otherwise, I tell you people. Maybe if you ask me nicely, I'll tell you where it is. But I got a spot on the island that I know. And we go. It's right by the ship. And that was, well, I've been there a couple times with my family. We went one place, and this is a tangent, but this is a hilarious story. And if I don't get to tell it, I gotta tell you this story, okay? Can I tell you the story? Sure, Manoli. Oh, well, thank you. One time we're in St. Thomas, okay? It's me, my family. I don't know how long ago it was. I might have been 12, 13, 14, maybe. About 10 years ago. Anyway, we get off the ship and we look for a cab, and this guy pulls up, and it's this black cab. The cabs down there are vans. Anyway, so it's this black van, and it has like this cartoon lady on the side. It says Sweet 16. And we're like, all right, Sweet 16. So we get in there, and there's these other people with us, and they're trying to go to town. They were from some Scandinavian country. I don't know what it was they were speaking exactly. They had an accent. And the cab driver, right away you could tell this guy was a little disgruntled, okay? Anyway, so they're trying to go to the downtown. He drops them off. And these poor people, they ask him which way to go. He goes, I tell you, it's 3 blocks down and 1 block to the right. These people run away, and we're like, oh gosh, what did we get ourselves into? And he's taking us to where we're going. And the whole time he's playing this DVD of him. He had like this screen. And he's playing this DVD of a Michael Jackson concert. I'll never forget this. And my mother's sitting up front because she likes to sit up front, which as she should. She's the lady. And she's looking around, and I guess she's saying that like his girlfriend had left her makeup everywhere. She didn't want to touch anything. And anyway, this guy had like a stack of CDs and DVDs of different concerts. It was like Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston and Britney Spears. It was the weirdest collection of stuff. He's driving up these mountains, and the stack falls. And the guy, while he's driving, bends over, starts to pick him up. And my mother went down to grab one, and he gave her a look, and she's like, I'm not touching anything. And so he's driving, and he's reaching to grab the stuff. It was insane. He's driving like a maniac. And I mean, this is not a flat road. You're going up these mountains, down these mountains. I mean, it's like you're about to take off on a jet plane. And my mother says, sir, would you mind, please? We could slow down a little bit. He goes, this is how we drive here. If we don't, everything gets all backed up. And we're like, okay. Anyway, so he drops us off. And we go to wherever we're going. We go to some beach. And for some reason, my mother, I don't know, I guess she'd rather go with the devil she knew than the devil she didn't know. So she told this guy, hey, can you wait for us? He looked like he wanted to jump off a cliff, but he said, all right, I'll wait for you. And I'm like, well, why'd you tell that guy to wait? She's like, at least I know what to expect. I'm like, okay. And we get back from the beach, and this guy walks out. He literally is smoking a cigarette with a drink in his hand, about to drive us back to the ship. And he takes a look at me, and he sees I'm wearing a swimsuit. He goes, are you wet? I'm like, no, I'm not wet. He looks again. He's like, are you sure? Like, yeah, I'm sure. I'm not wet. He's like, he just growls and goes and gets in. He takes us back. It was similar situation, driving all crazy. Whitney Houston playing. It's. I actually have 2 great cab stories, but I'll save the other one for later because that was in Ireland. But anyway, that's my St. Thomas cab story. Okay, Sweet 16. I'll never forget it. Anyway, this time we go somewhere else. All right, a secret spot I have. Nice beach, beautiful, beautiful beach. We get out there. We rent our chairs. It wasn't cheap, by the way. It was like $25 for 2 chairs, which is a little steep, if I'm being honest with you, in comparison to the other places. But that's okay. It's worth it. The beach is beautiful, Anyway, so I'm in the water, and I don't know. I get out. I'm already sunburnt. I don't know. Every day it was like a different part of me would get sunburnt. The first day it was like around my neck. And I get out the water like, oh, Manoli, why didn't you put on sunscreen? I'm like, I did put on sunscreen. I put on sunscreen for like 10 minutes. What the heck are you talking about? Like, you're burnt. I don't know. I guess I missed a spot. Anyway, I go to get back in. And I'm talking with one of the people I was with, Alec. Oh, I said I wasn't going to say their names. Oops, oh well. I'm sitting there with Alec, and we're talking. And this guy's there, and I don't know, somehow we got talking to him. He was on another ship there with his wife, and we were talking to them, and he was from New York. Yeah, nice guy, very nice guy. We really liked him. He was very fun to talk to. We talked sports and traveling and school and all sorts of stuff. You know, it was great. Very nice guy. Anyway, so we go. I go. I go to the bar, right? I order a mojito, and of course they don't have mint. You know, nobody has mint anymore. But I'm going to come back to that. The guy didn't have mint, so I guess I'll take a painkiller. You know, I don't usually drink that kind of sweet, rum drinks or anything like that. But when I'm on the beach, I gotta have a rum drink. You know, it's just not complete with that one. So I order a painkiller, and I sit down. I sit down to eat, and Alec comes, and he sits next to me and his girlfriend. And anyway, I'm sitting there, I'm talking, and we're having a good time. We're having a few drinks, we're laughing, blah blah blah. Anyway, so I see the guy from the beach. He walks up. I see him coming up the stairs. I said, Alec, there's our friend. That's a guy. And I'm like, and I stand up. I'm like, hey man, I don't know his name. I'm like, hey man, why don't you come sit with us? Come sit down. And the guy responds in a southern accent. And I'm like, that's odd. He's like, all right. And he comes, he sits next to me, and I start talking to him, and he keeps this southern accent. I'm looking at the guy, I'm like, oh no, this is not. I look at Alec, I said, Alec, that's not our friend. He goes, yeah, I know it isn't. And I'm like, why didn't you say something? He's like, I did. I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't say anything. And that's how I invited a complete stranger to sit next to me at lunch. Okay. It looked like the guy. It was at a distance. I don't know what you want me to say. It looked exactly like the guy. But the first guy was from New York, and this guy was from, I don't know, Texas or something. How embarrassing. This is another example of things. I just get myself into these very cringy situations. And this is a great example. And I had to entertain this freaking guy. I didn't want to talk to him, but I had to. I kind of, I don't know. I think I turned my back to him at some point, which I guess that's me. But I don't know who he is. Talk to him. Wow, I'm nice today. Anyway, so we swam a little bit more. That was St. Thomas, a beautiful island. Recommend going there if you ever get the chance. Anyway, we're back on the ship, and one of the things that we did on the ship a lot was to play bingo. The bingo host was hilarious. I mean, this guy was funny. And whenever somebody would get one away from having bingo, he'd tell them to stand up and go, "Show me the money, Poppy." Yeah, it was very entertaining until, and I'm a great bingo player. Okay, nobody beats me at bingo ever. But this guy named Tyler. Anyway, he goes the first bingo. Bingo! What's your name? Tyler. Okay. Proceed to the next round. And bingo! And I look back, it's the same freaking guy out of hundreds who got bingo. This guy took home he took home like $1,200 that day, okay? I saw him at the casino later. I'm like, I was messing with the guy. I'm like, how dare you? Blah, 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 blah. And he was going along with it. It was very funny. Second to last day of the cruise. We're sitting, and it's a smaller group this time. And we're going. I think it was the last round. And I hear bingo. And I kid you not, it was the same freaking guy. Won bingo 3 times in a row. We couldn't win once. Me and 8 other people. We couldn't win one time. This guy wins 3 times. I just stood up and I walked out on my way. I said, "Come on, really? Really, Tyler? Really?" It was hilarious. He loved it. But yeah, so that's Tyler the Bingo King, who really made me upset. It's like, come on, how can you let this guy win 3 times? I'll give you a cut of my winnings if you fix it for me. A little bribery goes a long way, right? I don't endorse that. Um, yeah, so we did a lot of bingo. And the next stop after St. Thomas was St. Martin, another beautiful island. St. Martin is interesting because it's actually split in half. There's a Dutch side and there's a French side. And what am I saying? So there's a Dutch side and a French side. I don't know why this island's split in half. There must be something really valuable on it that both the Dutch and the French wanted. But I digress. So we get on the cab. We go to Orient Beach. That's what it's called, Orient Beach. And it's on the French side. So you go there, they got French flags waving. The people there speak French. I walk up to the lady at the bar. I'm like, "Hey, ça va?" I don't know where I thought I was going to go with that. That's about the extent of my French. Despite taking it in high school. It's like, "Ça va?" And she's like, "Oh, ça va bien." I'm like, "Ça va bien et moi?" I don't know what I thought was going to happen. Anyway, me trying to be suave never ends well. Anyway, so I go to Orient Beach and God bless them. They actually have men. They can make me a mojito. So I get a mojito. I sit out by the beach. I think I got a massage at some point. Uh, yeah. My back was burnt. They put aloe on it. It was fantastic. Beautiful beach. You should really go there. I highly recommend. Okay. I gotta add a disclaimer. There's a section of the beach that's clothing optional. I would advise to stay away from that part. I don't want to get too graphic, but I would just advise that you don't go there. Okay. I did not participate, by the way, but anyway. I don't know I don't know. I can't say too much about that because it's not gonna end well. But I would advise to stay on the clothed section of the beach. Let's just put it that way, okay? So I stay on the clothed section of the beach, and I'm walking. I must have walked. I don't know. The beach is pretty big. I walk all the way down. I just start singing into the waves because I got a recital coming up. I just start singing my repertoire as I'm walking. I'm like, on the beach. It was an experience to say the least. Carrying around my mojito. But no, beautiful beach. Okay, there was one thing that kind of about this place I was at. How can you be on the beach and you don't have fresh fish? That should be a requirement. If you want to open a beach spot, you got to have fresh fish. Fresh fish. I don't want that frozen stuff. I can eat frozen snapper in the States. Why am I going to go all the way to St. Martin? I can't get any fresh fish. Come on, people. Do better. Do better. I know you make a killing out there. You hold us captive. Oh, by the way, the chairs there were only $10. I should point that out. Big difference. But no, the people were very nice. At one point it was very windy, and the whole restaurant they had to board up the doors. Beautiful island. But once again, stay in the normal section of the beach is all I recommend. Unless what, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to go there. Anyway, go back to the ship. Another big activity we had, beyond me sitting out by the pool and getting sunburned in a different spot every day. We also did a lot of karaoke, and yeah. So my friends they wanted me to sing every time I went. I think I sang. What did I say? I sang like 8 songs, like 6 or let's see how many. The first time I went, I sang New York, New York, in the Sinatra key because, Sinatra, my kind of range, for the most part. You can really belt that one out. So I sang that. The next night I sang, oh gosh, what was it? Another Sinatra. Oh, Luck Be a Lady, but it was the wrong version. So I look at the guy, I'm like, this isn't it. And he's like, yes, it is. I'm like, oh, okay. So I sang it. It was like half the song was cut. And it kind of made me upset. But other than that, it was fine. You know, it's fine. What do you expect? It's karaoke. You don't know what you're gonna get. Then I think it was the second to last night I sang My Way, which is actually rather difficult. It's rather high for me. It's you can actually kind of sing that as an aria. You know, it's kind of legato, kind of, not really, but kind of. You can kind of get away with doing it a little bit more operatically. Um, I sang that, and I don't think it was my best rendition of it, but they got the crowd liked it enough. Anyway, around the ship after I sang a couple times, they're like, "Oh, you're the singer! You're the singer! You're like you're good." I'm like, I try. They're like, "No, really." I'm like, "Well, I've been singing for 10 years." They're like, "Oh, you cheater! You're the cheater at karaoke." Blah 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 blah. I'm like, "I'm not cheating. I got asked to sing. What do you want me to do? Say no? My friends want to hear me sing. God forbid. Maybe I want to sing. You ever think about that? Huh? I got a right. Cheater. Get out of here." And then the last night I sang, they had nobody signing up, so I think I sang 3 times. I sang Ain't That a Kick in the Head, D. Martin. Went back up. No, I started That's Life, Sinatra. Ain't That a Kick in the Head. And this other lady that was singing, she's like, "Do you want to do a duet?" I'm like, "Yeah, I guess. Sure, why not?" They're like, "Do you know Summer Lovin' from Greece?" I'm like, "No. But, I could do it. I mean, I've heard it, but I never sang it before." And I sang, we sang Summer Lovin' or Summer Nights, whatever the heck it is. And it was, I have to say, it was nice being the romantic lead for once. I didn't have to play a priest. I didn't have to play the villain. I didn't have to play some old guy. I got to be, a little suave, Summer Lovin'. Met a girl, she's crazy for me. One day I want to go up to karaoke. I just want to sing like, I don't know, like a Johnny Cash, you know. I hang my head and cry. I love Johnny Cash. Or the Stones. I want to go up there. I'm going to go up there and just, it's a honky tonk women. Gimme the honky tonk blues. And maybe some Elvis, huh? Well, why not Elvis? I could do a little less conversation, a little more action. Why am I taking it down an octave? I don't know. A little less conversation, a little more action. I guess it would help if I learned the words. Oh, that reminds me. Funny story. I saw George Shirley, the great tenor, give a master class, and it was at our school. And this guy goes up there. I'm really not trying to be disparaging, but this guy goes up there. And he's singing the Toreador song, and George Shirley. I kid you not. The guy finishes, and he looks at the guy and he says, "It would have helped if you had learned the pitches beforehand." Oh man, I mean George Shirley, great tenor, but I mean really a legend in my book. After that one, that was that's some old school stuff. You can't say that now. They'd be, "That's mean, that's cruel." It's like Maria Callas. She's like, "Oh, you can't trill? That's bad news. Not my problem." There's just something to be said about those old school opera people. But where the heck was I going? Oh, karaoke. Yeah. So I think I sang a mini concert on that ship, and it was fun. It kept my voice warm for my recital coming up. What else can I talk about? I'm sure my teacher's very proud of me that I kept my voice warm on my vacation. One way or another, right? And I have to say, a lot of the times I was the last one up at night. I'm one of those. Okay, apparently there's two schools of thoughts on vacation. The one school, which was everybody else in my group, that you got to go to bed early and get up early to make the most of the day. I'm not like that. I want to stay up late and sleep in. I want to be out there having a good time. And then you're sleeping in the morning. Why? Where else are you going to sleep in except on vacation? That's what it's for, right? Apparently not. I mean, I love my friends. I could be wrong, but a lot of times I was the only one out there, so I had to make new friends that I only saw, once everyone went to bed. So I had like I had two sets of friends going, and at one point they collided, and I'm like, oh, this is so and so, meet so and so, and my friend put back home. They're like, oh, hi, blah 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 blah, and I'm like, all right, that's great. You know, you gotta make your own fun, okay? Gotta make your own fun. Your friends want to go to bed early, well, that's fine. They could do that. They got the right. They got the right. They're great friends. But if you want to stay up late, you're gonna have to meet some new people. That's the way it is. It helps I'm very extroverted. I like to talk to people, which is why I run my mouth on this podcast. Uh, yeah. So that was always fun. Meeting new people. I love to meet new people. It's great. And I'll get back to that. Um, Anyway, what did we do next? I wrote down what I wanted to talk about, but I can't read my own handwriting for some reason. It's a problem. I have handwriting like I think my little brother Leo. He's 5. I think he's got better handwriting than me at this point. You know what my problem is? I write stuff down and I don't write it to go back and read it. I just write it to remember it, to get it in my head, like to reinforce it. And then I look at this list and I'm like, what does this mean? What is what is this? Oh, St. Kitts. That was the last stop. St. Kitts. Beautiful, another beautiful island. Beautiful island. You know, pretty far south, pretty far to the east. We had to change time zones, and then we had to change it again to go back, and we had to change it again because of daylight savings and all this other stuff. But anyway, St. Kitts, beautiful island. A fun fact about St. Kitts is that there's a beach on there, and we didn't go this time, but I've been there before. Um, there's a beach on there, and they got these monkeys that are drunk, like they're drunk. They have drunk monkeys on the beach. Yeah, so you'll be sitting there, and a monkey will come and just take your drink and just start drinking, and then they get drunk and they fall out of the trees, and it's I don't know. I find it amusing. Oh, another fun fact. So they have drunk monkeys, and they have an abundance of mongooses, mongoose. I mean, what? This is a problem. The English language, okay? We have goose and we have geese, but then a moose isn't a meese, you know? It's moose, like plural. Do you say mooses? Do you say mongooses? Mongoose? Is it one size fits all? I don't know. But they brought over these mongoose because they had too many snakes on the island. So now they have no snakes on the whole island, but they got plenty of mongoose. So it's a beautiful island. I highly recommend it. If you ever get the chance to go to any of the places I mentioned, please go. Really recommend. But this time we didn't go to the Drunk Monkey Beach, and I didn't see one mongoose. We went on this boat, and it took us to the sister island, which is Nevis, which is basically a big volcano. And we go there, and we're sitting on this boat. The boat ride was probably like 45 minutes. And they had this guy. I mean, the boat was rocking, man. Okay, it wasn't it wasn't. They had some wind going, some waves. They had this guy out there playing the steel drum. I got to give this guy credit. This guy was a talent, man. He didn't hit one bum note the whole voyage. And I saw him at the beach. I'm like, hey man, I got to give you props. You didn't mess up one time. The boat was going. He's like, oh, you wouldn't know if I did. I'm like, yeah, actually, I might. He's like, well, when you mess up, you got to keep going. I'm like, yeah, that's right. As a performer, yeah, it's got to keep going. I didn't mess up. I like that. That guy had it. That guy had it going on. This guy had some style to him, some confidence. You got to have confidence, people. Who am I talking to? Like I'm talking to people that don't have confidence. This is the motivational speaking part of Manoli's musings. Manoli's motivational musings. You got triple alliteration. Anyway, so this guy's playing the steel drum, and we get to this island, and we dock. Beautiful island, beautiful beach. It's got this huge volcano. I'm like, yeah, that's a volcano, right? Yeah, but it's dormant. Like I thought it was going to explode. I'm like, yeah, I know things. I'm smart. I can handle things. I go to sit at the beach bar because I was hungry at this point. I'm not a breakfast person. I know a lot of people love breakfast. It's personally been my least favorite meal my whole life. Um, so I didn't have breakfast before we got on this boat. So I go to sit at the little restaurant they have there. I'm sitting there on the beach, and I order I order a lobster tail because St. Kitts has the best spiny lobster, Caribbean spiny lobster in the world. I mean, obviously in the world, but I mean, it's the best. I ordered this lobster tail. I mean, the thing is huge. It's like the size of my head. I'm sitting on this beach. It's beautiful. Talking to these people, the locals. I'm chatting with them. It was great. I mean, beautiful day. Oh, except for I ordered the mojito. And what did they not have? They didn't have mint. No mint. I'm telling you, man, the mint. And I'll get back to it. I got more to say about the mint. No, but I ordered a painkiller instead, but it was way too sweet. I don't like things that are too sweet. I mentioned I don't like dessert. I also don't like drinks that are too sweet. So then I switched to the local beer choice of the St. Kitts, and that was very good, actually. Very good. Anyway, so I finished my food, and I'm like, all right, ready to get the water. Like, it's time to go. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, we gotta go. They're taking us back. I'm like, oh, okay. Honestly, I thought about asking if I could stay and catch the other boat back. You know? But I digress. I got in the water the other 2 days. Water's water, right? Water is water. Unless it's in Greece. I mean, the Caribbean is definitely second to Greece. I will say that. The Caribbean water, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It's clear. It's not too cold. That Greece's water is very cold, but it's definitely worth getting into. Gee, Manoli, you got to connect everything to Greece. Yeah, I do. I do have to connect everything to Greece. Okay, you got this proud heritage. You can't be named Manoli and not talk about it. All right. So there you go, imaginary critic. um. Anyway, so we get back on the ship. Or no, what happened? What happened? Something happened that day. Oh, I went back by myself because they wanted to walk around whatever town it was. There was nothing to see there, so I went back, and that was the last stop. I think we had two more days after. It was 8 nights. It was a long thing, but a beautiful cruise. I met some nice people. Some local people that I actually, I live in the same vicinity as, which that was cool. I had a great time with my friends. They're great people. I thank them so much for putting up with me. Uh, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time with them. I got some good pictures. That's what it's about. Making memories, having a great time, living life. Enjoying it. My last spring break at college, and it was a great one. I have to say. So I thank you to my friends. Because I know they're going to listen to this because they're probably hoping, oh, is he going to talk about me? Well, maybe I could bring you on for an interview, but I don't know. I don't think I can. Too much. But yeah, it was a great time. So I finally get off the ship. It's Saturday. No, it wasn't Sunday. Wait a minute. Wait. How did I get on the ship Friday and get off on Sunday? 8 nights. See, this is a problem. I'm revealing my own ignorance. Here is what I'm doing. In the words of AJ Soprano. Yeah, I get off on Sunday. I don't know where my math is going. I get off on Sunday, and I got like 12 hours to kill before my flight on JetBlue. And then I get an email, your flight has been canceled. I'm like, oh, for God's sake, what's going on here? And there was a winter storm in the Charleston area where I was flying back to. I'm like, well, this is great. This is great. Now I'm stuck here. I got nowhere to go. And I managed to get a flight on Delta, but it didn't leave until Tuesday. So I was trapped in Fort Lauderdale for another 2 days, which, I missed some class, but, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. I got to check into the hotel. I go by the pool. What do they have? They have mint. I got a mojito. It was great. Somebody finally had one. I sat out by the pool, and it was spring break in Fort Lauderdale. So, a lot of people my age, you can use your imagination. But let's just say it was a good time, okay? It was a fun time, There was a lot of people my age, a lot of college kids. Anyway, so I'm sitting by the pool. Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. What am I gonna do? I'm talking to my parents, and I'm sitting out there. They're like, well, you should just enjoy it. It happened. You can't change it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. I guess I can. So I enjoyed it. Sat out by the pool. I evened out my tan. It's amazing. I can't believe I actually did it. The sunburn, it's all blended in now. It's great. Come back looking like I actually went somewhere. Yeah. So, oh, I'm sitting by the pool. I get an email. It says police report. I'm like, oh, I don't know what this is. I thought it was a scam. And I get a call from my mother, like, did you see that somebody was shot and killed in your apartment? I'm like, what? Yeah, look at the email. And so I look at it, and yeah, somebody was shot and killed in my apartment building. I'm like, well, that's great. I can't wait to go back there. Yeah, it was like 5 people got shot. 1 person was killed. A party that got out of hand. I'm sorry, I never been to a party where there was gunfire. What do you mean it got out of hand? How do you go to a party and ended up killing someone? They said they got to beef up the security around there. I'm like, well, gee, thanks. I'm glad you do. Sitting in here waiting to get shot, It's not like it's in a bad area. It's in a good part of town. I don't know what the heck's going on. People don't know how to act, man. The world's gone crazy. It's not a joke. I mean, it's serious. It's serious. I feel horrible for the people involved. It's horrible. What are you supposed to? How do you even come back? I can't come back here and look at this place the same. I know when somebody died, a floor beneath me. But I digress. I'm like, well, that's bad, and tried to put that out of my head. That night, I went to my father's. Like, they got a lot of here we go. They got a lot of good Greek places in Fort Lauderdale. You should go to one. I'm like, all right. So I go to this place, Thassos. One of the best Greek places I've ever been to in America. I'm dead serious. The food was great. The prices were reasonable. The decor was beautiful. They had a live Greek band. I mean, it was like being back, not quite being back in Greece because I would be eating outside, but it was close, okay? I had some taramas salata, which is like a Greek caviar. I had some saganaki. That's that cheese they light on fire. I wanted to tell them you don't have to lie. I mean, you don't have to do the whole presentation because they go, Opa, because people like that. Well, he just set it down, and I had a little bit of ouzo to try to bring me back to my Greek days in Greece. And I'm sitting there listening to the band. They're playing all the hits, all the Greek hits. Good stuff. I had a lavraki, a sea bass, Mediterranean sea bass, delicious, huge portion, good price. And I was happy. It was great. It was fantastic. Anyway, I go back to the hotel, and I'm like, it's kind of early. I guess I could go out. So I go to the hotel bar, and I meet these 2 people. I guess they were from Indiana or something. I don't know. They're 2 college kids. I'm like, yeah, I'm stuck here by myself. All my friends went home. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Blah blah blah. Do you all have any plans? They're like, yeah, we're going to some place. It's called. We're going to this place. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. They're like, yeah, you want to come? I'm like, yeah, actually, I do. So I kind of invited myself, but I'm bored. Okay, you make friends where you can, right? It's not like I just walked up and asked, hey, can I come with you? I talked to them for a while, and then I felt like they were trustworthy. And I went with them, and we went out to some place called Sway. And I know why it's called Sway because you go in there, and that's all you can do because it was a fire hazard. Okay, I'm just gonna put that out there. The place itself was cool. It looked cool inside. I couldn't see much of it because I'm a shorter fella, so everybody else around me was taller. I was staring at people's shoulders the whole night, but it was okay. The bathroom was frightening. I will say that. But you couldn't move. They let too many people in there is what they did. I mean, I guess I get it. As a business person, you got a $20 cover charge. You let in so many people. I mean, you're making a lot of money. It's spring break. They gotta, it's a big deal for them. But let's just say the experience could have been a little bit better for me. But anyway, I stay there, and after, it was open bar, though, which is probably why everybody was there. But yeah, it's open bar with a $20 cover. So, I mean, how much, you got to get your money's worth. But when there's 8,000 people trying to get a drink, it's kind of hard, But it was for what it was. I guess it was fine. I don't know. I didn't stay for long. I had been. I guess it was last year, maybe the year before. I got stuck. I'm not stuck. I went to Miami for spring break, and I stayed at a bar till they closed with some other people I met randomly. Other people I met that happened to go to my school. We went to this bar called the Wharf. Great bar, fantastic. Outside, food trucks. People had their dogs. People were having a good time chatting it up. It was expensive as all get out. I mean, it was like $14 for a mojito, which was ridiculous. But it was a great time. But I stayed till they closed, and we had it took us a long time to get home. We couldn't find an Uber. The one we did find, it was ridiculous. So I actually left early just to get the jump on that, and I went back home. The next day, I get up, I go to the pool. The bartender, he's looking a little tired. I'm like, what happened to you? He's like, oh man, I went out last night. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I'm talking to him. I'm like, hey, your mojito's good. Can you make it? We don't have mint. Are you kidding me? You don't have mint? I mean, what the heck is going on with the mint? And it's not the first time I've had this happen to me. I've been to many places. I've been to many places and they don't have mint. Why does anybody have mint? Is it such a hot commodity, this mint? I mean, you work in a tropical environment. You got to have mint for a mojito, you know? People want to talk about the oil shortage. We should be talking about the mint shortage, is what I say. What the heck is going on with the mint? I said, oh, you got to be kidding me. It's like, yeah. I'm like, well, what kind of beer do you have? We have Corona. All right, I take a Corona with lime. It came in a can. Why? I guess because of pool deck. They can't have a glass. I'm like, how am I supposed to put this lime in here? Whatever. I think I have one of those. He's like, oh, we're out. I'm like, okay, what are you doing, man? Yeah, man. You ran out. I was giving him a hard time. I was joking with him, obviously. Like, you ran out of mint on purpose. You ran out of Corona on purpose, you know? And then you talk crap about Elvis. I'm like, how dare you? You talk crap about Elvis. Everything that I'm for, you're against. He started talking crap about my school or my state. I'm like, what the heck's going on here, man? We went back and forth. It was fun. The great bartender. Hotel was beautiful. They opened like 2 days before I got there. Literally, I guess the day I got there was one day they had opened. Beautiful hotel. It was fun. I met some other people. They were from Buffalo, I guess. And I saw them later. Oh, yeah. I saw them later. I'm like, hey, are you guys going out? They're like, yeah, come with. I'm like, all right, let's go. So we walked down to some place called Cafe Ibiza, which I guess is a restaurant by day because I could see tables and chairs. And it was another situation where there was about 2,000 people trying to get a drink at the same time. But, that's how it goes. The bathroom was also terrifying. I don't want to get into specifics, but, I tried to stay away from there. But the funny part was, because this place was a restaurant, they had like their tables pushed against the walls and their chairs and stuff. So people were, you would see somebody standing on the table dancing, these college kids, and then they would just, you hear a crack and the thing would just buckle and they crash to the ground. Ah! And then they all jump up. I'm fine. It's all good. They have bowling tables too, which I saw two people dancing on a bowling table and then the thing just crashed and they slid to the floor. But I tell you, the chairs were good because, a shorter person like me, I could stand up and I could see everything. It was great. We stayed there for a minute and went back. I'm like, all right, guys, I got to go to bed. I got to go to bed. And that's it. I don't remember any of their names. Isn't that funny? They couldn't remember my name. They kept saying I was like, I don't know. Nobody remembers my name. They all think they're clever. They all think they're smart with their, oh, it's cannoli. Oh, it's ravioli. Oh, it's stromboli. Oh, it's Manila. Manila. How do you get that? Milano. What else have I got? What else have I been called in my day? Maholi. Holy Manoli. I like that one. Mandy. My math teacher in high school, she called me Mandy because I wrote my name on the test and the O and the L were stuck together, made a D. So I spelled my name M-A-D-I, and she called me Mandy the whole year. Mandy. What else have I got? I could go on forever. Any variation of my name has been said, okay? And I just, I started just saying it for them. I'm like, it's Manoli, like cannoli with an M. They're like, oh, I get it now. I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh, Manoli, like cannoli with an M. I'm like, yeah, that's my name. That's how it is. That's how I have to introduce myself to these people. Because they say it, and I'm like, never heard that before. Wow, that was a lot of pent up stuff right there. um, so yeah, when did I fly back? I flew back on Tuesday. I flew back on Delta because JetBlue sucks, and I don't recommend it. I flew back on Delta, and had to get a connection, so I flew into Atlanta. And I'm sitting at this. I had to get some dinner, so they had a Carrabba's in the airport, so I go there. And I'm just sitting at the table next to me. There's a family of four: mom, dad, two little sons. I don't know. Somehow I got to talk to them. Like, how old's your son? One's 3, one's 6. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm sitting there. I'm kind of watching because it's entertaining. And the one son takes dad's hat off, and they're like, oh, it's like daddy. I'm like, daddy. And it was the younger son. And so the older son's like, I want to turn. And I kid you not, the older son puts the hat on his head. The younger son takes his hand and just slaps him in the face. And the mom's like, no, you can't do that. I'm dying inside. I had to hold it in because I didn't want the kid to get the wrong idea. He just smacked his brother in the face. It was the funniest thing. The little one, the 3-year-old smacks the 6-year-old in the face, and the 3-year-old starts laughing. I'm like, this is awesome. But yeah, so I get on my flight home, and I'm sitting there. Oh, another thing about airports is that for some reason I always want to listen to like early music. So I'm like listening to Handel and Monteverdi and Lully and Rameau and all sorts of stuff. I guess it's like I want something that's more, relaxing when I'm at the airport. I listen to Alexander's Feast, the really beautiful recording by the great Nicholas Harnoncourt. Harnoncourt, did I say that right? I told you foreign names I'm going to get wrong. Nicholas Harnoncourt, one of the great, probably the greatest Handel interpreter on record, and that goes for his Bach and Monteverdi and Vivaldi. I mean, one of the best conductors ever. Alexander's Feast, great recording, live recording from the 70s. Anthony Rolfe Johnson as Alexander, probably the greatest Handel tenor I've ever heard, at least in my book. Beautiful recording. If you've never heard it, what are you waiting for? Go listen to it right now. It's not long. It's like 90 minutes long. But, I mean, really, really imaginative direction. So there's my Harnoncourt plug. Did I say that right? I hope so. If I didn't, sorry. Rest in peace, Maestro. Anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, so I'm on my return flight. Finally, Atlanta to Charleston, South Carolina. I'm sitting there, and I'm on the plane. I'm listening to something else. And they had TV, but what do I want to watch on TV? The news. The news depresses me. I've said that before. I'm not watching the news, okay? If it's that important, I'll hear about it. Call me ignorant, but it is what it is, okay? I got to stay. I don't want to get down in the dumps. It'll bring me down. Anyway, so I'm sitting there listening to something. This guy, he's like a seat behind me and across from me in the aisle. He looks like a pretty tough guy. And he was there with his girlfriend. Anyway, he drops his AirPod case, and I see it drop, and it slides. Excuse me. It slides into the seat in front of him, right ahead of the lady in front of him. And I look at him, and he's looking for him. I'm like, hey, it slid underneath that lady's feet. He's like, okay. And I'm like, yeah. And he's looking at me. I'm like, I just kind of look back at him, and I'm like, what? Are you kidding me right now? You mean to tell me that you're afraid to tap the lady ahead of you to ask for your AirPod case back? I didn't say any of that, but this guy's just staring at me. I'm like, well, what am I supposed to... They're not my AirPods. I told you where they were. I did my due diligence. I got tired of the freaking guy looking at me, so I tapped the lady. I'm like, hey, this guy dropped his AirPod case right at your feet. And she's like, oh, okay. I'm like, yeah, how hard was that? And she picks it up and hands it back to me. And the guy's like, thank you. I didn't even say that. I just gave him a look like, learn some, I don't know, learn some people skills, I guess. How do you get the courage to ask the girl? I mean, he had a girlfriend, so you got to have some people skills. And, you can't ask the lady in front of you for your AirPods back. This is the world we live in. Um, so yeah, I get back on Tuesday, and my family had been in Florida as well, touring colleges with my sister, and they get we. I kid you not, we get back literally. They pull into the driveway. I pull in right behind them, like 10 seconds apart. They were getting their stuff out of the car. My little brother Leo, he's all excited to see me. He's like, "Oh hi!" I'm like, "Hey Leo, what are you doing? What do you think of Florida University?" He goes, "A zillion thumbs down." I'm like, "Oh okay," because he likes anything that has to do with me, so he likes my college. He's like, I'm like, it's not like my school, is it? He's like, no, your school's better. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And he's like, he goes to open this bag. He's like, oh, I'm like, oh, it's a Lego. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, it's 18 plus. He's like, yeah. I'm like, you want me to put together this Lego? He's like, yeah. So I stayed. It's like 800-piece Lego of Singapore of all places. They're like, that's the only one they had at the Target. I'm like, oh, okay. So I put that together for him. And I got to say, that's probably the best part. Not the best part, my goodness. One of the best parts of having a little brother is that you get to build Legos when you're 20 something, and it's normal. I'm helping him with his Legos, you know. I'm gonna be sad when he actually starts to build. Actually, he has started. He built some by himself, but anyway, he sat there drawing something. I sat there building this Lego, and he passes me the drawing. I'm like, he passes me the drawing. It's like the Death Star with Luke and Darth Vader fighting on. I'm like, oh, this is great, Leo. He's like, yeah, I made it for you. I'm like, oh, how sweet. Um, yeah, and then I got up early on Wednesday, and I drove back to school, and I made it in time for my first class. So what does that tell you? The dedicated student returns home after almost 2 weeks out in the field, you know, having a good time, enjoying my spring break. It was a great time. Now it's crunch time. I got my recital coming up. You know, I got a senior thesis to write. I got a lot to do, you know, and I got to get it done. But you know, I also got to enjoy along the way. I only got like 5 weeks of college left. That's kind of scary. It's a little frightening. Wow, 57 minutes. Wow, that's a long one. Anything else I have to say? Let me look at this incomprehensible list. Flight cancel, Fort Lauderdale, mid shortage, going out, sway. Ugh. What is that? Airport kid slapping his brother. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I got a haircut yesterday. That was interesting. No, that's really not interesting. I don't even know why I mentioned it. What's interesting about me getting a haircut? I don't know. It's important moment of my life. I don't know. My hair is. I gotta take care of it. You know. People are always like, "Oh, your hair." I'm like, well, yeah, kind of. What did I do today? What's today? Thursday? Oh, it's been 2 weeks since I released the podcast. Wow, look at me slacking off. Oh, I was having a good time. So, this is my thing. I release it when I want to. Okay. Do you ever think about that, huh? What do you have to say about that? Nothing, right? Because I can't hear you. I definitely want to get some guests on here soon. I'll try to get some people I was on the cruise with probably. I'm sure they'd love to come on. Yeah, I want to get some guests. Some friends of mine, maybe some people you might recognize, huh? Maybe, probably not, but I'll try. Because I got friends all places. I gotta be careful with this singing. If I start singing too much, they're gonna want to copyright me. That actually happened to me. I posted a video of my junior recital, and they literally put a copyright on. I'm like, how could you copyright it? It's mine. If you're gonna put copyright, you better attribute it to me. YouTube. How dare you? How dare you? The audacity of you to do that, okay? And I did it again. I uploaded some, I kept them private. I think I kept them all private. The opera I was in, they tried to copyright that. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Copyright that. It was written by Offenbach in the 1800s. How could you copyright it? I know laws. I know things. I took business law. I know about copyright. And I know that YouTube, you're out of line. I'm going to say that they're going to take this video down. You're out of line. I'm just kidding. Don't delete this video, please. At the mercy of our overlords. Wow, this is getting rambly. All right, I think I'm going to call it a show. If you like it, subscribe. This is a longer episode because I had a lot to talk about. Well, let's think of it this way. If I did 2 episodes a week, that was 30. No, I did one episode a week that was 30 minutes each. I missed 2 weeks. So this is an hour. So yeah, I'm back up to speed. So there you go. Take that, huh? How about that? But yeah, that's it. If you like the show, please follow along, subscribe. If you have any questions or anything you want to say to me, that's nice. Leave it in the comments, and I'll answer it next episode, or I'll respond to you. Try to get some guests on here, get some dialogue going, because I think that's when I'm at my best, is when I'm going back and forth with someone. But I try to do it solo as well. This is a Renaissance man, okay? I'm gonna try to branch out. But yeah, that's it. Great spring break. Thank you to my friends who I went with. You were all great, and I had a great time. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And I look forward to seeing you all very soon, hopefully. I'll try to post another episode soon. But that's gonna do it for me tonight. And one thing I want to talk about. The Dodgers, your Los Angeles Dodgers, they signed Freddie Freeman. How about that? We got Freddie Freeman. We got a great lineup this year. I'm excited. We actually get a baseball season, and we get Tom Brady back. Well, he's not a Dodger, but I'm retired, which I had a feeling. I knew it all along. He wasn't retired. That's what everyone's going to say, right? I knew it all along. Everybody wants to be right. Nobody can admit that they're wrong. Well, I can, but I'm not wrong often. And I think I'll leave it at that. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. All right, that's it.